start.
We're gonna start with some conversation.
We're gonna start with a trigger warning. So if this poem addresses child loss, and so if you need to step out, we want to be respectful of just your emotional needs. It's a very intense poem. So starting there. Okay. So we're gonna start off with, if you could just connect. We're gonna start with some conversation. So you can scan in here. And then you're gonna talk with somebody next to you about what is a tender experience or a tender moment between a parent and a baby, like a parent and a child. So go ahead and connect, and then we'll get it. And then once you talk about it with your partner, you'll be able to throw up an experience, like an example. Is it working?
It says your teacher isn't running this activity right now.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna see. Thank you. I'm gonna see. Got it. And let me start the lesson. I'm a little bit new at this, so I'm trying to see. I did test run, and I wonder if it start. Did I change it up? If I did that, it still says.
It just went back to, it did something, but then now it went back to your teacher isn't running this activity.
I'm sorry, I'm trying new things. Thanks for being patient. Does anybody use Lumio? Oh, look, I see you guys. Okay,
I wonder,
what do you think?
what if you press review result?
Okay. I don't think you put anything yet. Can
Right,
you try it now?
but it doesn't give it, it just
Gives
says,
us the option to-
it doesn't give us the option to put anything in there.
Oh. Okay, then can we pivot? Are we gonna lose points if we pivot because our technology is not working? Okay, thank you for just letting us experience challenges and learn together. I'm sorry that it didn't work. So, I'm sorry, group mates.
That's okay.
So, the first one is, the idea here is to put up ideas that are tender moments between parent and baby. So just turn and talk to one another. What are some minor, think micro moments?
Like those tiny moments that you can connect
that
to,
you can
like
connect
parenting, and relationships, like things you do with your child.
This made me easier.
Tiny things that are meaningful.
Right, yeah. Yeah, so. Monica, some tender moments for you and Christina.
Hey, I just want to let you know it's letting me comment.
Oh,
Is that on
right.
comment?
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, how did you do
So
it?
see if you can add.
Oh, now it is.
Oh, I see
I think
it.
she just needed to continue.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I had to restart it.
Sweet. Yeah, it's letting me do it now.
Yay!
Okay.
How do I get this out?
There's some
Like,
tender
okay.
experience.
I know, I don't want to hit end, but I also want to
Just
not.
like here, just where you can hold them, it was kind of.
Like, this is mine.
I'm not gonna do that.
And
And like when they're taking their first steps, you know, or just like when they wrap their hands around your finger.
oh, that's a cute one.
Once it's done, it'll pop up, right? Okay, got it? Does it allow you to select where it goes?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so you see both options?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So, thank
That's
you.
a
All right.
celebration.
So that is a
Can't put in the
celebration.
finger.
So once you've entered something on a tender moment or two things or however
popping
many,
What
then
if you click right?
I tried to do that. It's not working.
I wonder if it gets out of the way once you press end and then it all
Yeah,
shows.
that's what I'm wondering. Okay, so then the second activity, second piece of this is think about a hardship that somebody might experience in a refugee camp. In a refugee camp. And then throw up, you can talk to each other first. So if you want to talk to somebody, if not, I realize this is kind of like intense emotions.
I
So
put separation from family.
yeah, throw some stuff there. What if I do instead of this, if I do extend? It's on my computer, it's still fine. I'm just thinking of this. thank you for engaging with that. Kind of wrap up your ideas, and then we'll close it and take a look at your responses. Okay. So, all right. Good. 3, 2, 1, ending. Okay. It's still not going away.
Should we close the class ID check?
Close.
So it might just be the teacher view.
It might be the teacher view.
Sorry.
Get the student.
Okay. So thank you again. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. This is a disaster. Sometimes we just roll with things. Okay. So some of your answers here we don't totally see. I don't know what to do about that. Any suggestions would be great.
So can someone share? What was some of the
Sure.
tender moments that you had that you can think of with a baby?
We talked about like when your baby wraps their hand around your finger. Yeah.
Yeah,
Laying and cuddling with them at night when they're falling asleep.
okay.
Okay.
Looking at the rear view mirror, like at the baby
Aw.
seat.
Aw,
Yes.
yes.
Carrier.
Okay, and now to shift to hardships in refugee encampments.
Okay, some of these that you shared with us are separating from families, lack of food resources, the unknown of the future, uncertainty, right? Separation, lack of food, clothes, lack of love. They don't have any personal things, and your future might feel overwhelming. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good connections there. Okay, so now that we've sort of experienced some of those emotions and thought through that, we're gonna share
Our poem with you.
poem.
Our poem is titled Refugee Mother and Child Poem by Chinua Achebe. No Madonna and child could touch her tenderness for a son. She soon would have to forget. The air was heavy with odors of diarrhea, of unwashed children with washed out ribs.
And dried up bottoms waddling in labored steps behind blown empty bellies. Other mothers there had long ceased to care, but not this one. She held a ghost smile between her teeth, and in her eyes, the memory
of a mother's pride. She had bathed him and rubbed him down with bare palms. She took from their bundle of possessions a broken comb and combed the rust-colored hair left on his skull.
And then, humming in her eyes, began carefully to part it. In their former life, this was perhaps a little daily act of no consequence. Before his breakfast and school, now she did it like putting flowers on a tiny grave.
So, this poem depicts the profound bond between mother and child. It's really and it contrasts that with the harsh realities of the refugee camp, and the way that she contrasts these like almost sacred moments, these really small micro moments, with the tragedy of the circumstances really amplifies the impact of both.
And kind of still like diving a little bit more into the poem, one piece that stands out is the line that says, other mothers there had long ceased to care, but not this one. So what it was talking about is that they've been in this, awful situation, and this mother, even with a loss, is continuing to care and nurture for her child.
So, how does that tie into education? Our students come to us from different experiences, right? And so it's so important that as educators, as Tiffany said, that we create a bond with them, letting them know that, that we care for them, they're important, and that we believe in them, no matter where they're coming from or what their background is, just that we are going to continually push and motivate them to get them where they need to be. I'm sorry, this was like a.
No, that's
Yeah.
a really
It's so
hard.
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, and as part of supporting children and being there for them, we need to understand their cultural background. We need to understand their background experiences. We need to build those relationships in order to support students, right? So within our classroom, we have to embrace that diversity and those experiences that our students bring to the table. But then at a larger scope, administration, as they analyze the composition of our demographics, right? They have to target a lot of these situations, a lot of these needs that our students bring to our campuses. And in a larger scope, our district has to be ready. Like, we have a huge wave recently of immigrants coming in. So our district is constantly planning and becoming prepared to suit themselves and be able to meet the needs of all school demographics and students. So we have to be that parent that, although regardless of the circumstances, we are there to foster an environment of learning and in which we embrace our students and have them find a safe place within our classroom.
They need to know that they have somebody who's not going to give up on them and is their continual cheerleader.
Absolutely. So the closing out, just to kind of wrap this up and hopefully not leave you feeling that heaviness as much, is like, how can this poem drive us forward as educators? Like, yeah. So talk to somebody near you and think about, like, what is it that about this poem that can push us forward?
Talk to your elbow partner,
Elbow
and so you can share with us in a few minutes, or like in a minute.
In a minute.
Regardless of what they come home to, where they come from.
Because some students don't feel seen or
Okay, you wanna wrap up our conversations?
Ready to share? Who wants to share?
Just share out.
I'd like to share.
Like just also realizing how much more kids come to us experiencing that we don't see when we at first. They're,
And being mindful of that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
I feel like this really also connects to the article that we had to read for Miss Dr. Williams' assignment. And it's kind of like getting to know your students. Like, how many times do you call on that student? How many times do you just ignore the student? And it's just like really taking the time to get to know them. It only takes a couple seconds to talk to them.
Yeah.
And building that relationship, right? Like checking up on a student if you understand that there's some situations and circumstances that are happening. Like, touch base with the student every now and then so they feel like they matter. They feel like they're valued and that you really care for them.
What domains touch the poem and your activity, both?
Thank you for that question. So we discussed it, and it really was that emotional domain, right? And yeah, profoundly emotional experience that this brought up for us. Yeah.
What about the cognitive domain? Does it touch the
What about the
cognitive? The cognitive domain?
I mean, in terms of the activity of analyzing the poem and searching for meaning and connection, absolutely. In terms of the selection of like the poem itself, I just really feel that the poem, the obvious and overwhelming connection is with that emotional.
I think that the students are able to make connections to real world situations, right? Right now we have a contemporary war happening in Ukraine and Russia. So we're able to see, like, some of our students, this is a higher level in terms of the taxonomy, right? Having students be aware of their surroundings, meaning the world right now. Some situations they're aware of it because they have conflict happening at home. But the level of the cognitive level is higher because of the complexity of the poem itself.
Excellent.
Thank you.
listening.
Patient with both of you. I'll figure it out.